Louise.
Sarah Louise. Susie Louise. Susie Marie.
Susan Marie Meister Butler's here. Episode 361. How are you, Sarah?
Just wonderful.
Good. That's
the sun
exciting.
is shining. The birds are chirping.
Oh, Lord.
The Tinder dates are rolling in. I'm kidding, but I'm not.
That's hilarious. I don't think most people are using Tinder for like proper dates. I think you're unusual.
I think you might be right, but see, that's like how I play it. Like, I think the people go in like on these dates like expecting that they're gonna like it, especially when it's like a chick who like doesn't put any words on her profile. It's just like, look at this hot picture of me at the beach, and then they get there, and I'm like, let's talk and share and connect in a deep emotional way.
Do you get the feeling when you're with these people that they're like, huh?
At first, maybe, yeah. But then I just like, come on, who doesn't want a second date with me? I like win them over with my charm. I'm freaking adorable and hilarious. What's not to love?
Have you been ghosted by anyone yet?
No.
See, you're a hot item.
But then again, it's still new, and I'm like only like
there's still time.
It's not like there's a bunch of people I'm dating on here. It's like
likely story.
Right.
I'm pretty excited about it. I'm just living vicariously through you.
Thanks. Just trying to keep my options open.
Yes.
As they say.
That's smart to do because sometimes it can feel like you just want to jump back into it.
Yeah. Well, and I think that maybe in the very it's kind of like I've taken a step back and been like, how do I want this to go? Because now I get to really just make the rules. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I get to rewrite the rules and like do things like date on my terms. I don't know why I felt like I didn't do that before. Maybe just feeling like, I don't know. It's kind of like a role as women, and we're supposed to act a certain way, and you're supposed to do certain things, and da-da-da. Like, I'm like, I throw all that out the window. And I'm just like me on my date, and whatever they, take it or leave it.
Do you ever have moments when you're on the date where you suddenly are like, oh, no, I'm not into this at all?
No. And I think first of all, there's a heavy vetting system or whatever they call that.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
All of these, the two, or whatever, are heavily vetted before I say yes to a first date. And then I think, it's just like what my philosophy as a therapist, that I can find pretty much anything that I can connect with somebody on. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes I have to remind myself that just because I can connect deeply with people in certain areas doesn't mean that they're going to be fulfilling all of my needs or, in all areas. I tend to kind of do that. Like somebody was describing this to me a bit ago that, there are people who kind of feel like they are a prism of a whole bunch of different colors. And then there are some people that are like one color. And if you are a prism of colors and you meet somebody who's one color, you're like, hey, blue, we both have that. But then if you're like, oh, blue, but I kind of want to be a little bit of red sometimes, they're like, whoa, what are you doing? I'm blue. You should be blue too. And so like you got to find somebody who has those different, colors that you're, that kind of match.
Or it's fine just letting you be a rainbow.
Totally. Ooh, how beautifully said. Correct.
Beautifully
I love that. Fucking make that into a shirt. That's great.
Fucking make that into a shirt. Oh, God, Sarah.
Yeah.
Well,
I will tell you a funny thing. What one of my moves is, when they ask me, like, what I do, and I'm always like, ooh, do I lead with I'm a therapist, which is awful. Right. Or do I say that I host a podcast, and then I have to, like, come back and be like, well, like, a real podcast. Like, not like one of those that, like, everybody hosts a podcast. Blah, blah, blah. So I just send them a link to our Inc. magazine 7 top podcasts to help you distress out.
Oh, that's good.
And people are always like, damn. So there you go.
Yeah, right. We have credentials.
Totally.
We have been validated by, the fake news media.
Totally. I'm into it. Yeah. Anybody else want to write any articles about us that I can send out to my dates, please? Yeah. I mean, what if I just send them screenshots of our 5-star reviews? Hey, guys. Make sure you submit a 5-star review because you might be discussed on one of my first dates.
Right.
And make it funny and witty and hilarious.
Just say things like Sarah has the voice of an angel.
Correct. There you go. Yes.
Well, I had an adventure, as you know. I went to Philadelphia and
city of brotherly love.
Yes, I've never been there either, which is so weird because I'm from Pennsylvania. But first of all, what a lovely city! I don't know why people take a shit on it. It was so pretty.
Who's taking a shit on it?
Like, I feel maybe it's just Pittsburghers.
Oh, that might be it, because I kind of have this, like, I don't know, almost like romanticized view of it.
Yeah.
Where, like, it seems like that, like, old America, like, I don't know, in my mind, like, buildings look architecturally, like, historical, and they have libraries. I don't know. Yeah,
in fact, the person I went to her party, she said that her house is in the city, and all the properties used to be owned by one guy, and he owned, I forget if it was like a farmstead or coal something, whatever, but all the homes underneath are connected by like underground tunnels.
Wow. See, that kind of shit is cool.
Yeah. I
love
That's what I thought. I'm like, oh my God, there's a story about everything. It's kind of like when we go to England, they have all these like plaques everywhere and stuff. And she was saying she saw a plaque one time that said, on whatever day in 17 whatever, nothing happened.
I love those. Yeah. That's real cute. Here
adorable.
Lies a place that's regular.
It's normal. But I was so glad I went because it was for my friend's 40th birthday. We grew up together. We've been best friends since second grade. And like, I haven't seen her in a long time because we live so far apart. Mm-hmm. And she's the one that his family owned the chocolate factory. Yeah.
Oh, so cool.
And my heart is just so full because it was so emotional. Like, I could not get a hold of my tears because she started crying and then forget it.
Oh, I love that. You deserve all those lovey-dovey, wonderful, warm feelings.
I mean, we were just a mess. It was so special, and I just love her family. And her sister Samantha is a brainiac. And
shout out to Samantha.
Yeah, shout out to Samantha. And we were just, it was just a really special time. And if you have a friend like that from your childhood, then you are a lucky person because if you find one, you're blessed.
Yes.
So it was wonderful. And you had an event in San Diego. How'd that go?
It went so well. I mean, there was a little, oh my God. I had a few stop being polite moments that were really annoying in the morning.
At the event?
No, not at the event. In like, I'm like getting ready for the event, and I go to Kinko's to like print a whole bunch of stuff out. Like the morning of, I'm like finalizing the night before with Ashley about like what we want in the slides, like these little packets we're going to give to people.
Yeah.
And so like, you know, that morning I would go to Kinko's thinking it's going to be a real quick trip. Turns into like a half an hour ordeal, all because this jerkhead Robert manager, calling you out, Rob. I'm sitting there, like, printing everything, doing fine. He does that thing where the guy comes up to you and is like, can I help you with anything? And then, like, in that tone that's
Why
like...
are you mad about that?
No, it's different. He didn't really want to help me with anything. He wanted to, like, put the moves on. And, it was like that. I'm like, you know... And I've already printed, like, 3... I clearly know what I'm doing. And then I, like, I don't know, snubbed him or whatever the word. I brushed him off. I kind of gave him the brush off, and he proceeded to like be rude to me for the next half hour.
Wow.
And like he was helping me, and then somebody else came in and they like were shipping something, and then I go back up like, you know, could I get, and this is after I, you know, gave him the brush off, and I'm like, do you think you can get those papers that like you just printed? He's like, hang on, I'm helping these people. And so then they leave. So now it's just me there, and he's helping, and then he printed it incorrectly freaking 3 times and then wouldn't listen to me how I wanted it printed. Then another guy comes in to ship stuff, and what does he do? Fucking helps that guy, and then tells me to wait. And I was like, hold on a sec. You told me to wait when you were helping the other people. Then I waited for them to leave. Now it's my turn, and you're helping me. And this other guy comes in.
Wait, did you say that?
I did.
Wow.
Because I was like... I'm just really frustrated here because I'd really like to, get this done. And he was like, it gave me some answer that was snooty, and I just was like fuming. I'm like, Sarah, pick your battles, pick your battles. But, it was like that was like the one thing that kind of like I don't know, started my day off not so pleasant. So I had to kind of like relax and chill. And thank goodness it was such a wonderful, mindful event with great workouts and everything, because
you needed it.
Yes, I totally needed it. And I was like recharged. The event itself, so awesome. I mean, she did such a great job of putting this together. The first year she's ever done it. We're totally going to do them again. And there was a big turnout. Everybody sat and, participated in the mindfulness and mental health portion of it. And it was just like how you feel when you hang out with a bunch of people who are, on the same kind of journey and want the same things and are supporting and lifting each other up. And there were tears and laughter. And it's just like fun to do those things and be part of your community. And, it's important to kind of connect. And we talked a lot about the importance of connection and like, connecting to your community. And
I just was reading about how that is the biggest predictor of well-being.
Yes.
Connections with other humans.
It's at the most, well, what you can see is when we completely take that away. I even said this during the presentation about the importance of connection and how you see that with the orphans and those studies that they did however many years ago, where the like orphans in Russia or wherever the heck it was, they died when they didn't have love and they didn't have nurture and touch and connection and all that. Like that, you cannot survive without human connection.
Yeah.
And they gave them their basic needs, but because they weren't cuddled and nurtured and held and felt connected, they don't do well. So why on earth do you think we would not need that as a baby and not need that as a grown-up?
Right. Yeah, it's fundamental to the human experience.
Yes.
And another thing that we need is to eat, of course.
Yep.
But we don't want to have to worry about it. We don't want to have to think about the recipes and the ingredients. And that's why we love HelloFresh, right?
Yes, so much.
We love it so much.
Love it.
When Sarah's over here recording, we usually end up at our table afterwards eating some HelloFresh meals. They are so easy. They're delicious. And they deliver all the ingredients and everything you need right to your door. And it's flexible, so you can add extra meals to your weekly order. If you need more, you can add yummy add-ons like garlic bread and cookie dough. You can change the I know, right?
Like, don't tempt me.
Take advantage of that.
God.
There's something for everyone. They have calorie smart meals. They have a menu series called Hall of Fame and craft burgers that are delicious. And you don't have to go to the grocery store, which I really, really love. And it's so fun to cook with Lincoln as well. And they have a deal for you guys. If you haven't tried it yet, what are you waiting for? For $80 off your first month of HelloFresh, go to HelloFresh.com/BrainCandy80 and enter BrainCandy80. Again, that's $80 off your first month of HelloFresh. Go to HelloFresh.com/BrainCandy80 and enter code BrainCandy80 at checkout. It's like getting $20 off your first 4 boxes.
Such a good deal. I feel like the deals keep getting better.
I know, and I feel like the meals keep getting better.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
my gosh.
We've had some real winners lately. Like the figgy pork balsamic. It's freaking great.
Yes, and there's a bread, like a breaded, like a panko chicken one.
Oh, yeah,
we
just had that.
Oh, that's the one where I ate 2. So I ate both servings.
And it was not dry. I was shocked.
No, right. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. And it teaches me a bunch of tricks. I was like, oh, you brush it in egg yolk. Okay, I could do that with every chicken I make forever now. So that's how they get it to be delicious.
Oh, God. Sarah, you make me laugh.
Oh, well,
Like nobody I know.
You set me up for it. I know something else that'll make you laugh.
Oh, God. Cannot wait. Is it about poop?
Oh, my God, it is.
What?
Oh my gosh. Well, so how I found out about this, there is the coolest, this is like a 3-parter almost of hilariousness. So there is, have you ever heard of I think you say it, the Ig Nobel Prize Awards?
No.
Oh, Suze, you will love this.
Okay.
So there is an award show, kind of like an award show. It's like the nerds doing a roast of like themselves. So all the people who would normally go to like the Nobel Prize Awards do this
like a parody?
Yes. So it's an award, it's like a Nobel Prize, but for the most ridiculous experiments and stuff that they've done
that's
all
awesome.
year. And you know how they kick it off? This is my favorite part. They kick it off with a group paper airplane toss.
Really?
Yes, it's real cute. They do a countdown, and then everybody gets their paper airplanes ready, and it's just like science nerdy jokes the whole time. And they have all the really funny research, all the stuff that like you're like, why on earth did anybody research this? But they did. It's all like so. One of the things that they researched was wombat poop. And did you know that wombat poop is cubed?
No. Oh, I just saw this picture.
Yes.
On social media.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. How is this possible?
It's something about their digestive tract.
Is shaped like a square?
Like the way that it contracts. And like they tend to be a fairly stressed out animal. So it's like, yeah, it says that when poop enters the second half of the wombat's digestive system, water is removed, and it becomes 2/3 as wet as its own feces. Weird. And this formation of the poop cubes in the digestive tract is similar to the cooling of lava into hexagons, the researchers explained, like those found in Giant Causeway, Ireland. Truly, both are equally magnificent demonstrations of the nature at its most powerful. And,
so,
yes.
When it comes out, is it more like a blob, and then it sort of forms like a cube as it dries?
Oh, good question. No, I think it comes out like that.
Okay. It exits in a cube formation.
Yeah. It says when the team accepted the award, they proudly proclaimed that this work was scientific proof that you can squeeze a square peg into a round hole.
So their butthole is what you're telling me is round, like a normal butthole.
Yes, and how they contract and like what happens in like the cooling system, like whatever the cooling is in their
internally.
Yes, internally. Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
Yeah, so I guess with the water removed from it like dry. Yeah. Kind of like how like cracks in like the desert kind of form that pattern when you like suck all the water out of it, or like Yes.
But you wonder then why other animals don't have cube poop.
Good question.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, or good point. Yes. Yes. Other things they researched. Which testicle is warmer?
Oh my God.
It was found.
Do we know?
The left one
is warmer.
And what they did is they looked at mail carriers and bus drivers who were sitting, and like the difference between people who had like breezy jobs where their balls were like free. I'm not kidding. That's why this is the most hilarious. It was always the left. That was like a little bit warmer.
Why would you suppose?
I have no. Okay, let's see. And the headlines, like that's like one of my favorite parts. It's how warm is a French postman's left scrotum.
It's so specific.
Right. Yeah, it says that on average temperatures on the left side seem to be warmer than the right. Yeah, the left side was found to be warmer by 0.0 degrees Celsius. But for bus drivers, it was even more.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
The fact that my dad was a bus driver.
I know, that's why
really
it was hilarious. Right. I was like, oh my gosh. And
do you think it's because of something about like the location of the heart in the body or something?
Oh my God. Really good. You know, that's the thing is like this was an article about the awards.
Right. Yeah,
and so
like,
each one was broken up. So now, but I just clicked on like, you know how they give you like the little link that'll link you to the actual study. And the study itself was called Thermal Asymmetry of the Human Scrotum. So I can like, you know, go through,
that's all right.
But I'll just include this in our, what do you call it?
The
newsletter. And you can catch up on scrotums for yourself.
You can do the dirty work.
Yes,
on that.
Right. There are graphs and everything,
fun.
and it's just like hilarious that this is like what people are researching and all that.
Why do you think it's called the egg? No, what do you think
I was
that
thinking
means?
that I was trying to figure out what that was and what I think. Is there a person that is
maybe
named after?
It must be.
Yeah.
What
and
a
then
hoot.
yeah, and I just like that they also call it like this one was the 29th first annual Ing Awards, and I just like that that's like a cute, it's really funny. It's like to honor research that makes people laugh and then think.
Do you think they give them any prizes?
Oh, yes. Oh my God. That's one of the funniest parts. I took a photo of it because I was like, I have to remember what it's, wait, let me see what it's called. Oh, it's so funny. The prize is, oh my God, I have to pull it up. You're going to have to edit this. Okay, here we go. There are 10 prizes presented to the winners, and this year the winners took home a prize of 10 trillion Zimbabwean dollars, which roughly translates to 40 American cents.
What?
Yes, isn't that part great too?
Wait a minute.
Because it's like a joke. Like, this isn't like the real, it's like
Totally,
a chance to get together. Kind of like I think of this as the
Hasty Pudding Awards.
Oh, I don't even know what that is, but that's adorable. Tell me what that is.
That's the Harvard Lampoon's like Oscars equivalent, but for the worst films of the year. And actors.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking of kind of like the press, what's the
Oh yeah, the
correspondence dinner. Yes,
Yeah.
where like, we're giving you all a nod and saying that we respect everything that you're doing, but, all this other stuff. Like
But it's funny
but
too.
it's just yeah.
That's very cute.
Yeah, I should just put this whole article in there and you guys can click because other ones are like, can pizza cure cancer? This is fascinating. Can surgeons be trained like dogs? I read a little bit of this and they can. They use the click
God.
training and it's been proven to be really successful with surgeons where you don't even need to give them the instructional videos. You just train them as they watch to respond to the clicks and turns out it works.
Huh.
Yeah, a team of researchers had successfully used these techniques on factory workers, professional golfers, dog trainers, which is kind of funny, and surgeons.
I love it. That's really fun.
I know. It was like, that's what I was laughing at when, we first, first were starting today. I was like giggling to myself in the corner.
Here's another awesome scientific situation that will also make you look beautiful. There is a company that I had never heard of called Charles and Colvard who create gorgeous gemstones out of a meteor crater.
Well, I already love this.
And it's called moissanite. It's a gem.
Oh, this is what
Have
I
you
wanted
heard of
instead
it?
of a diamond.
Yes.
Suze, I wanted this just because I like what it is.
Yes.
I no joke, like fought for this to be my ring.
Right?
Good thing I'll get another opportunity to get
it.
Next time I'll have one. It's like a freaking space ring.
Yes.
It's so
cool.
cool.
It's a mineral so rare that it has to be made in a lab. It's ethically sourced, conflict-free, set in 95% recycled precious metals, and it has more fire and brilliance than any other gemstone in the world. I never heard of it. You're so wise that you
gorgeous.
Already knew.
Well, you can go back in my Pinterest boards from about 5 years ago and see a bunch of really beautiful ones that I saved. And and the price of these, 1/10 what a diamond is.
Well, that's the thing.
Maybe less, actually, or maybe more than that, or like, whatever.
You guys should check them out. Charles and Colvard, they've been creating and perfecting moissanite for over 20 years. It's the world's most brilliant gem. It's just such a cool concept because a lot of, the problems with the gemstone industry are problematic. Things aren't ethically sourced, and there is a lot of terrible things that go on about it. So this is just a great way to have beautiful jewelry, but without the terrible issues that it can cause. And you can learn more and get 20% off with our
What?
special...
These are a sponsor?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. Well, I didn't know that.
With our special listener offer at charlesandcolvard.com/braincandy. Again, that's charlesandcolvard.com/braincandy to get that 20% off. It's just beautiful. I have a pair of earrings for you, as a matter of fact.
Oh, for me?
Yes. That are stunning.
Oh, my God.
You can get engagement rings, wedding rings,
God. I'm
bridal
so excited.
jewelry, all that stuff. It's just gorgeous. You're going to die.
I can't wait.
Okay. So that's fun.
Talk about putting the cart in front of the horse. I'm going to be shopping for engagement rings while I haven't even gone on my first dates yet.
That's hilarious.
It's
never too soon.
Here's the deal.
I mean?
This is what I want.
She's a planner.
I'm a planner. What can I say? Oh, that's funny.
Whenever I was on my journey the other day to Philadelphia, I happened at the same time to see an article about how I mean, I'm sure you already know this, but they did a study about airline water.
No, I do not know that. Oh, no. What?
Well, I had read before, like, ask for no ice because the ice is so gross. But they even said, don't even wash your hands with it.
No.
Yes, that it's like basically diarrhea.
Oh, my God. Well, okay. I can kind of understand this because, oh, God, I read something recently that was like, how long should you drink water out of your water bottle? Like,
yes.
And it was like 1 to 2 days.
Yeah, because the
you have
plastic
to
breaks
clean
down.
it out. Not even that. Like if you have a metal one with a straw or whatever, because like if you sip on it and the bacteria from your mouth travels down and like lives inside of that.
Okay.
And then it just starts to kind of grow and spread. So if you have people like washing all that dirty, nasty shit off their hands, all that kind of stuff just sits in the sides of everything, and nothing ever gets like deep cleaned. They don't like clean the tanks of the water, and then it just is recycled. And they said in this article that if you drink water that has that kind of bacteria in it, that'll give you symptoms of almost like hay fever and like a sore throat and
ew, so
what's
gross.
It called? Post nasal drip and whatever. And I get that all the time. That feeling. And I was like, oh my God, maybe it's from all this shit. So, no, I'll be bringing bottled water for sure. Nasty.
Well, and like I brought, what do you call that? Sanitize? I guess it's sanitizer, the stuff. And I'm just going to use that instead of.
Oh, like water sanitizers?
Just like the alcohol that you can use on your hands to clean them instead of freaking washing them with like BM water.
Oh my God, right. And you know what? While you're at it, use those wipes on your seat.
Ew, right?
Because, man, once Landon, I swear, oh my God, I'm calling him out, got pink eye, and I swear to God it's from airplane seats.
Well, maybe.
I said that.
Well,
and that's what the doctor said too. That's what the eye doctor was like, yeah, were you recently on a plane? Yeah, this happens a lot for people who travel often. Because like you put your head on you're like resting on there, and who knows? And ugh.
Yeah,
people are gross.
I try not to be an alarmist about that stuff because we're just all swimming in our own BM. But like at a certain point, it's like, oh, that is foul.
Yeah, right. You know what grosses me out now? Dressing rooms. I don't know why.
Really?
Because I feel like nobody's like these places where a lot of people go, but nobody ever thinks to like thoroughly clean.
Yeah, good point.
When you touch things. So like I'm really grossed out by that oily residue that's on doors where people grab often.
Yep.
And I see that on dressing rooms now, and it's like as soon as you start to look for it, you see it. And so I have to be like you, where I try not to be an alarmist, and I just be like, it's fine. These are germs that we're supposed to be exposed to. But then I just think, like, what's on their hands?
In retail, and we know they're not cleaning that.
Suze, I have had when I worked at Forever 21, there were 3 times where somebody, which I hope to God it was a child, peed in the dressing room. And when I worked at Nordstrom, there was a shit incident. So, come on.
Shit incident.
Yes. And it really was an incident. Like, it was a deal. Ordeal would have been maybe
Would you say
word.
that it was like an accident where it just like...
This was a... this was an individual who's mentally disturbed, and
oh no,
yes, and like I worked at the San Francisco Nordstrom, that's like right in downtown, right off a market. It's like, all right there in.
Yeah, you see all walks of life.
All walks of life who walked right through the door and right into the restroom and used
no, the fitting room, right?
Yeah. Well, this one was the restroom, but it was not contained to the toilet. And he painted the walls of the bathroom with...
No.
And this was the crazy part. At Nordstrom, they have a rule for employees, like, there's the time that they close, but then if a customer, like per Nordstrom's policy, if you are working on a floor that still has a customer shopping, you can't leave. They stay open until the last customer's out of there. So they considered him fucking customer. We could not leave.
So he was in the stall or whatever, taking his sweet time painting a poo portrait?
Correct. And somebody called the cops or security, and then security called the cops, and the cops had to come, and we had to sit there and wait. And I was like, I feel like this is like one of those letter of the law and spirit of the law things where you should like kind of understand that now it's after midnight and maybe we should go because why I'm catering to this kind of crazy is insane.
Yes, I would have to agree with you.
I quit that job real quick. Not even just for the poo stuff.
That wasn't even the tipping point for you.
Right, imagine that.
And I understand now why you have issues with... I've been LOLing ever since that episode a few weeks ago where you were like, what is my number one fear? And I'm like, things that scurry and mysterious wetness. And you were like, yes, and both apply to garbage.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. You said, oh my God, I wish I could remember. That's the problem is I listen to our episodes and then I, like while I'm driving, you said something that was so funny the other day. I'll remember it and I'll text it to you. You know, now it's like we're just not even on a podcast and just talking over here.
I was just wondering. Like,
I love this about you.
When I was LOLing about it, I thought, I wonder when she discovered her fear of mysterious wetness. Oh. Like if there was something that caused it.
Yeah. I think living in New York, I think it was Brooklyn that did it. But I must have not liked, I think what also I didn't like is it's especially like wet bathroom floors. And because I played water polo, we would always go into the restroom like wet.
And you'd have to change.
And it would just be like, like I know where the water on my feet came from, but there's water over there, and I don't know if that was because that person just got out of the pool. So
or not, right?
Or not, right. So I don't know, but it really grosses me out.
One thing that doesn't gross me out is how much money I save using Stamps.com. Mm-hmm. I mean, what do I have to do to convince you people? If you are shipping things, you have got to use this service because who has the time to sit in traffic, go to the post office, lug all your packages? It's such a hassle. But with Stamps.com, you can do everything right from your desk or wherever you happen to be shipping from, any package or class of mail. And you get a deal because it's 5 cents off every first class stamp and up to 40% off priority mail. And it's just a no-brainer. It saves you time and money. And they have a deal for you guys. Right now, our listeners get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale, which I use mine all the time, without any long-term commitment. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in Brain Candy. That's Stamps.com, and enter Brain Candy. We love a deal.
I remember the thing that you said that was hilarious. Remember when we were doing the Flintstone episode, the episode where we were talking about the lady with the Flintstone house, and I was looking at the pictures, and I'm like, yeah, it's like cool. It's kind of got like a mid-century modern vibe, and you were like, yeah, which century? I don't know. And I was like, I missed it when you said that when we were recording, and I listened to that, and I was like dying. I'm like, that is so funny. I don't know why that just tickles me so much, but just the way you said it, I was like, yeah, which century? Who knows? But middle of one of them.
I miss yours all the time too, because we're like looking at our notes or whatever.
Yeah,
and so that happens to me all the time too. When I listen back and I'm like, she just said something hilarious. Sometimes you'll go, Suze, that was really funny. Like you'll want me to know that you said
excuse me,
something.
you need to laugh at this. Like, you should definitely be laughing right now. I need the validation. What can I say?
No, I mean, you're a laugh a minute, so it's hard to catch all the jokes.
I am like, my cheeks already hurt from laughing today.
I saw a documentary that I wanted to tell you about. I was using the library's free digital movie service, which I want you all to try. And there was a documentary, I believe it was called The Witness, but it might have just been Witness. And it was about a murder that happened. I'm sure you have read about it in New York, like 40 years ago or whatever, where a woman was murdered on the street sort of in the middle of the night. And there were supposedly over 30
This
witnesses.
is the bystander effect
Yes.
thing. Yes. I reference this all the time. I need to watch this.
You have to because
man.
They talked about how this case became the sort of textbook example of the bystander effect and exploring why people don't take action or whatever. And the person that made the film was the woman's brother, the murdered woman's brother.
I need to see this.
It's great. And it really got my wheels turning about so many things because it begins with this exploration of the trauma of knowing that all these people could have saved her life, because she was stabbed and then she was still alive and calling for help and walking around for a long time, and nobody did anything. And then he came back and finished it off. So somebody
I didn't
could
even
have,
know that.
yeah, like somebody
This is
could
so
have.
sad.
So sad. So you can imagine that feeling that he has of like haunting him of like, what if somebody had just simply done something?
Cared. Right.
Yeah. Then he starts trying to meet the witnesses and ask them, and things get a bit murky as far as like, what did people actually see? And was it really all these people's apathy that caused her death, or what? So he starts exploring that. And all the while, you know, we're seeing him on screen, and he's in a wheelchair, and he's an amputee, both of his legs. And they only later in the film describe that he eventually, after her death, went to Vietnam. And that's where he lost his legs. And the reason he went to Vietnam was because he wouldn't allow himself to be somebody who just stood around and didn't take action. Wow. And then now he doesn't have his legs as a result. But we're starting to wonder, were they really bystanders who did nothing? And did he go to Vietnam for no reason in pursuit of not being apathetic?
What do you even mean?
Like, he was inspired to go into the military because he didn't want to be one of these people who just sits around and does nothing.
So is he making the argument that maybe people didn't just sit around and it was like bad police work or something?
Bad police work and maybe lazy journalism, where they just went running with this idea that wasn't actually true.
Well, oh my gosh, this is like a Malcolm Gladwell book waiting to happen.
Right? And he goes to the journalists and he says, like, why did you report this or that? And they're like, well, the New York Times did, so we did. Like, New York Times set the bar.
Oh, my God.
It was fascinating. And then it's like 4 movies in one, because then you learn about her and the fact that she had secrets. And, like, you know, she wasn't who her family thought she was. And you're like, holy shit, this story's incredible. And I don't know anyone that's seen the film.
Yeah, I can't believe I've never heard of this.
Maybe it's because it got a little muddled and you think, what is this about? Is this about a crime? Is this about their family? Is this about his life? Maybe that's why, but I loved it. Okay. So I would recommend it.
Good recommendation. I can't wait.
Yeah. So, and I thought you would be into it because of the bystander effect, which I was certain you had studied.
100%. And I talk about it in my
What's your take on that?
On the bystander effect?
Yeah. Like, what do you talk about when you talk about that idea?
Well, I'm talking about the bystander effect in stepping in when you see somebody in a situation where they look like they, could be potentially at risk of somebody like sexually assaulting them, and kind of like recognizing and we come up with ways to discuss like how do you stop that? How do you take action? So stepping in and having like an excuse or some story or something like that. Like, hey, can you help me find my keys real quick? And things like that kind of get them to stop that
motion.
Totally.
Well, is the argument within psychology that this is something that humans have a problem with, and that we tend to, like when I described the tsunami alarm and how everyone just stood there?
Yeah.
Where we're sort of like, what do we do? And so we're all looking for a leader, and if no one leads, we just stand there. Is that this sort of idea?
Totally. Okay. We're looking for, first thing you got to do is like recognize that something is wrong. And in order to recognize something is wrong, usually we get cues from our environment. Mm-hmm. And if our environment is giving us the cues that nothing is wrong, like nobody's doing anything, it's hard to take further action. And then you got to be direct and step in and intervene. And then you got to distract and like change the situation. Mm-hmm. And then you got to delegate. Like, this is all the steps of being a bystander. And delegate, like go to a higher authority, or find like, if you've stepped in, like now, like those people, for example, like maybe they think of all these steps that they have to do, and it's like somehow in their mind not worth it or too much energy. And so it's like, okay, I got to first see that something's wrong. Then I got to like intervene. Then I got to create a distraction or diversion. Then I have to like call the police or delegate or whatever. And then the last part, you're supposed to have like a offer the supportive resources or like care for the victim. And that's, I don't know. I feel like first an individual has to feel empowered and like have autonomy to feel like they can do that. And if you're somebody who maybe yourself has been victimized or you just feel like you don't have the power to make any change or make a difference, then I don't even think you would engage in step one.
Right. And that is so frustrating about human behavior, isn't it? About how, like, we almost doubt our own instincts.
Totally.
I remember there was a guy on Oprah one time talking about that very thing, about how for whatever reason we sort of train ourselves to deny our own biological and evolutionary instincts. And we're sort of like, no, I'm sure everything's fine, rather than taking action. Because, like, in the case of this murder, it's not difficult to call 911. And even if it's really not an emergency, there's really no harm done if you're not doing it all the time.
Right.
And so wonder what it is that makes someone think, well, I'll just go back to bed, if that is what happened.
God. Yeah.
I would never do that. I don't think.
I don't know if but then so like the other night, I heard some loud noises that sounded like, I've never really heard gunfire.
Right.
Like, in real life outside of like a firing range that like, I've got headphones on. I know what is happening.
Yeah.
So I don't really, but I hear that it sounds like the backfiring of a car.
Yeah.
Or like fireworks. And so I heard a few of these pops. And my first instinct was like, oh my God, is that a gun? Like, was that gunfire? And then another part of my brain jumped in that was like, Sarah, you're being an alarmist.
True.
That's not gunfire.
True.
Like, it's probably just bad.
Yeah, don't be hysterical.
Yes. That is, I think, what everybody goes through.
I see.
And that's it. And I didn't do anything. I just continued, because what that would mean, it's like, am I prepared for what that would mean if I got the answer of like, yes, that is that.
Right. Okay. Well, this, however, I get that with the gunfire, and I always think to myself, I would not want to be shot on July 4th because nobody would fucking call 911 because they're going to assume it's fireworks. But in this case, the woman was screaming for help.
I know.
So, and she said, I've been stabbed.
There's no way I could do nothing.
There's no way. You would.
Now that makes me suspicious because I think that you're probably right that they did.
Yes. And they said they did. So,
my God.
I guess we'll never know. But one thing I definitely do know is I like clear skin, and now I have it. Thank you, BioClarity. I'm not joking.
Right. We're dead serious over here about this.
We really are, because I have terrible skin if I just let it. Yeah. And now it is glowing. It's healthy.
Yeah, your skin has been looking great.
I've shown you the before pictures, Sarah.
Yes, I do know of them.
I use the clear skin routine because I have breakout prone skin. It's a 3-step process. It's super easy and very gentle. Mm-hmm. It doesn't cause irritation, but it still works and handles all those spots, which are so embarrassing, and I hate them. It's 100% vegan, cruelty-free, non-toxic, sulfate-free, all that good stuff. And they have a 100% risk-free money-back guarantee. I love that we still have brainiacs who haven't done it, and they're like, fine, I'll do it. Because you must. Get healthier, more radiant skin by going to bioclarity.com. It's so effective, and the products are actually affordable, unlike their competitors. And right now, for our listeners, you can save 15% off everything on their website. An incredible deal. You need to enter our code BRAINCANDY at checkout. Just go to bioclarity.com and get 15% off everything on their website when you use our code BRAINCANDY at checkout.
And don't skip out on the anti-puff eye gel, because that shit is like a lifesaver. If you're like, oh, she looks all glowy and well-rested, it's that.
I use it twice a day. I use it every morning and every night before I put my makeup on and then after I take it off. Mm-hmm. It's so great.
And I apply it with my little cool rose quartz roller, and it feels all nice.
Oh, my gosh.
And
you're
like
always
deep
bragging
puff.
about that
I
thing.
know, I love it. It's just like my little routine, to feel fancy.
Listen to this, though. This is a film I have not yet seen, and we have to watch it. My friend Leah told me about it. She had it on her phone. She goes, I've been dying to tell you about this. So,
Yes.
have you heard about it? It's called The Farewell.
No.
So this filmmaker, it's a movie with actors, it's not a documentary, but it's based on her real life. And her grandma was, I believe they're Chinese, but they're of Asian origin. And the grandma was diagnosed with terminal cancer and was given not long to live. But in their culture, the doctor doesn't tell the patient. The doctor calls the family and tells them, and they get to decide whether to tell the person, because they believe that you do not die from the cancer, you die from fear.
I believe this in a way.
Okay. You're gonna love
that gives
this.
me chills everywhere.
Me too.
This is a mindset thing.
Okay. So
Ooh, I love it.
So the family decides they're not going to tell the grandma, and but they wanted to like sort of celebrate her and have a special thing, but they couldn't tell her why. So the woman that made the film decided she was going to move up her wedding to be like in the next few weeks, just so everyone would come to town and they would have a chance to say goodbye to grandma without actually saying goodbye. So they do this, and here's what's weird. I didn't see the film, but in real life, the grandmother, this was, I don't know, 10 years ago, the grandmother is still alive.
Oh, I love it.
Okay, so
I think this is beautiful and amazing. We're doing everything wrong over here with how we talk about death. Yep.
Here's what's absolutely bonkers. The grandmother still doesn't know. And this film is being made by her granddaughter.
Oh my God.
And they are trying to prevent the grandmother from seeing this movie.
Oh my God, it's so funny. Remember the episode of Friends where Joey was supposed to be on Law and Order and he invites his grandma over and she and they like slip in a tape that's like of something else to like make her think that that was it. I feel like the family has to do something like that. They have to have like a fake video that they like put in real quick, and it's like,
and it's the weirdest part is, well, I don't know if it's the weirdest part. Yeah. Another weird part is that the grandma did this very thing to the grandfather, her husband. He did die eventually, but
as people do, can't live forever, Suze.
They're not immortal,
right? Turns out.
But I am just gobsmacked, and I also love the idea. I want to have the conversation of whether there is something to this notion that fear is the thing that actually kills us rather than the illness. What do you think?
Yeah. I think when those kind of worry thoughts, anything that kind of creates that, like resets the brain, to start strengthening like neural pathways about death and pain and I don't know.
And
I just
stress.
feel like, and stress. And we know the effects of stress on the body are severe. So if we can eliminate that, there's a documentary that's on Netflix that people keep telling me to see. I think it's called like Health, or it's like one word like that. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Is it about diagnosing those illnesses?
It's about people who are sick and then like the power of, or I think it's called like Heal, and the power of the mind in kind of like the same situation. A bunch of people who have been diagnosed with like terminal illnesses, and what happens, or maybe like they couldn't get a diagnosis for some things and or didn't have answers, and focused more on the thought of being healthy, and that like cured them. I'm going to have to figure out what this one is called.
I definitely think these are all things that play a part in our, well-being and health, and that certainly stress and fear can exacerbate a condition.
Yeah.
I just wish there was
100%.
It seems like there should be kind of a marrying of the Western and Eastern approaches.
We're seeing this in mindfulness.
Yeah.
I mean, I was saying that in the event that we did, I'm like, the research that we have that's coming out now is just saying, everything that these century-old cultures have been saying about the power of the mind and meditation and creating, open space in your mind and all this stuff are true.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's real cool.
I love the conversation. I love this concept. And also the woman that made the film, she is American. So her family is Asian and lives there, but she's trying to navigate that balance between the culture and what her family does and what she feels intuitively and intellectually about health and disease, etc.
I just think we have to open up the placebo effect alone gives us so much info. So if you combine all those things that we know to be true, we really, I feel like in a way it's kind of some sort of like HIPAA violation in the United States to not give them their medical, and now that I think about it, we kind of in therapy, when we're working with clients, go back and forth on, do you discuss the diagnosis that you've given your client with your client?
Well,
sometimes it's a benefit, sometimes it's not.
Okay, tell me more about that.
So, say you're working with an individual who has very high functioning, well, now it's not in the DSM anymore, but for all purposes of argument, Asperger's.
Yeah.
What would it mean if that individual was given the diagnosis? Is this something that will change his identity and be helpful? Or will it be something that adds a label to them that they feel is like, I don't know, what are they going to do with that information?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, I'm sure it varies.
It does. And that's what you kind of have to be. You have to know the client. You have to know if they will benefit from this, if it's something that could add, like what's their mental state at the time in which you're going to tell them. If it's somebody who's like borderline, who has like borderline personality, sometimes, with that black and white kind of thinking, you may create an enemy with your client if you tell them that they have that. And they may never trust you again. So you have to work with the diagnosis without disclosing the diagnosis, because the nature of that personality disorder is that they will reject any of those ideas that, counter what their view of their, you're either with them or against them. You're either on their side or they need to destroy you. So you don't want any risks. It would really
freak me out, though, if I went to a traditional medical doctor and knew that if I had a terminal illness that they weren't going to tell me.
Yeah, that does seem a little freaky, right?
Yeah, I'm surprised that people willingly participate in that ritual.
Well, I like jokingly but not jokingly say, I wish my doctor would just give me placebos.
I know, me too.
I think I'm so...
Yeah, you're very, what's that word, suggestible?
Totally, yeah. What is that term? Easily, there's a phrase for that, but I'm that.
Hypnotists always use.
Yes, highly susceptible to hypnosis. I am really, because I think it's just easy for me to go to that place where I kind of like surrender and let my mind be like neutral in a way. Mm-hmm. And it's great for meditation. I've practiced that a lot, but it also allows you're just in a very pliable.
Yeah. Place. Yeah, which has its perks and downfalls for sure.
Totally.
I can't wait to see the film though, because I gotta I just want this to keep going in my brain to sort it out.
Yeah. I think that documentary on Netflix I was talking about is called Heal.
Okay, no, I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it says scientists and spiritual teachers discuss how thoughts, beliefs, and emotions impact human health and the ability to heal.
Huh.
And it's won a whole bunch of awards, too. Yeah, it was the number one bestseller in iTunes documentaries for a while in 2017.
Wow.
How did we miss this? We should probably see this.
I always wonder that about documentaries because I'm on top of it.
And they call it Heal, a fascinating look into the benefits of Eastern medicine. We should be watching this.
Yeah. We should.
Yeah.
I just read an article about that Morgan Spurlock, the guy that did Supersize Me.
Oh, yes.
and how he has a sequel out that I haven't seen yet, but is available on my library service.
Nice.
Called Holy Chicken, and it's the Supersize Me, but about chicken.
Oh my God! We should not be eating that.
Right. I mean, he goes sort of, I guess you'd call it undercover or something, where he pretends to be a chicken farmer in order to learn all the
I thought you were just going to say chicken. I pictured him in a chicken soup before you finished that sentence, which is real funny. Why'd I do that?
And the article, though, was interesting because it focused mostly on how he sort of inserted himself into the Me Too movement last year by writing an op-ed saying that he feels like he was a part of the problem and he mistreated some people and he had to he cheated on all the people he's ever been with. And
wow.
It was just this weird thing that he put out on his own. No one was even accusing him of anything at that time. And then he went to rehab, and my impression is that this is a narcissist who
oh yeah, I could see that.
Was like, oh, I can use this terrible situation in society to act like I'm self-righteous. But I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe his intentions were good. That was just my impression. But he's obviously
No, go ahead.
I love it. I love his films. I think he's talented, but it just seems like, why are you doing that? It's weird.
I do have a vague memory of reading something back when he did the Supersize Me about his wife's feelings on everything.
Yes,
and
which
how
they're
he was
now
kind
divorced.
He was forcing her to enforcing whatever that means, but to participate or to and she's like, this is not my life. And it seems kind of narcissistic if you expect everybody to be wrapped up in the things that you care about more than things that enrich their lives or whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna need to check that out. Dig a little deeper.
I think he's a bit of an unsavory character, but maybe he's learned a lesson or two.
Yeah, I used to have a crush on him. He's got that
cute.
redhead look that I'm into.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't he kind of a redhead?
Yeah. I always forget about your ginger fetish.
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm into it. With the
Are
exception
you into
of Wes.
Prince Harry?
You know what's funny? You say Prince Harry. My schizophrenic aunt, when I was growing up, used to tell me that I was going to marry him.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did you agree?
I agree that he was real cute, but really hard to agree with a schizophrenic aunt who's telling you you're going to marry British nobility.
Stop it. Hey, it was actually closer than you thought.
Yeah, right?
Given that he ended up with
I know, an American.
Hollywood. Yeah.
Totally.
Starlet.
God.
Missed opportunity.
I know.
Yeah, he's
watching
cute.
a different network than the one I appeared on, apparently. What was Suits on? USA? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. Great show, by the way.
All right. Well, don't forget to leave us that review so Sarah can put it on her date roster.
Yeah. What if I just took a picture of that and put it in my Tinder profile? Hilarious. God.
We love you guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. This podcast is brought to you by Wave Podcast Network. Check out all of our shows, including the Brain Candy Podcast, I Don't Get It, Coffee Convos, and Let's Talk About It.